true honor and pleasure to me.
Oh, God, didn't get it.
And we're not done.
I'm sorry. I'm just disappointed. I just can't believe it.
It was hard to watch when it happened. It's hard to watch today, even harder to hear. But here we are 1 week now after receiving the devastating news that he was not going to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame this time around. Drew Pearson is finally ready to talk about the decision.
He spoke exclusively with our Keith Russell about what he wishes he would have done differently. Keith joining us now in studio with more on what he had to say. Keith?
Guys, he was extremely insightful today. You know, I learn a little more about life every time I talk to Drew Pearson. He says he's not running, he's not hiding. While he wishes it could have played out differently last week in more ways than one, sometimes we all need a peek behind the curtain to understand what someone else is feeling.
Nobody ever sees the disappointment that these families and that player shares with his family, you know, in that moment. You know, I think this might have been the first time it was exposed that somebody that didn't get in, you know, their feelings, their emotion, how that made them feel.
Congratulations to all of the inductees. It was really a true honor and pleasure to me.
Oh, God, didn't get it.
And we're not done. We have a special guest in.
Do you go back and watch some of the clips and how you emoted after the disappointing news, and what goes through your heart when you see those clips? What did that display about Drew Pearson?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I was a little disappointed I showed that emotion publicly. You know, I'm a private person. To show that kind of emotion in that situation, you know, crying and, you know, the words I said and the disappointment I felt, you know, once I looked at it, I kind of wished it wasn't public. But as it turned out, that might be the best thing that ever happened for it to go public. It broke my heart. They broke my heart. And they did it like this. They strung it out like this. I'm sorry. And you know, you think, well, you think some of the responses might be, well, wait your turn and all this kind of stuff. Who do you think you are? You know, compared to these other guys that are wanting to get in, you know? So you expect that kind of response coming out of a situation like that, because people get that Twitter courage and all that. They say things they might not say to you face to face. So you know, you expected that, but it didn't come out that way. It's them that need to look in the mirror. They need to look in the mirror, not me. After I saw the video and said, oh man, is that Drew? Is that me? And so, but you know, that negative, you know, what do you do with that? You try to turn that into a positive. And that's what I'm trying to do.
It's okay to cry.
Yeah.
It's okay to have emotion.
Yeah.
It's okay to be tearful.
Yeah.
But people don't expect that from a guy who played the roughest, toughest game ever.
That's not the first time. I've had tremendous disappointment in my life, you know, not being drafted into the NFL. I've lost 3 brothers and 2 sisters to different ailments that passed away before me. My mom and dad are gone. I've cried a lot in my life. You know, I ended my career in the NFL because I was in a car accident on the LBJ freeway where I lost my brother in that accident. He's sitting next to me. And so I've cried. I've showed a lot of emotion. But this is the first time I really showed it publicly. And maybe this will show people that we athletes are human too. You know, we have feelings.
Next year, and hopefully it comes your way next year. And if not next year, the next year.
Yeah.
How do you approach that time come this time next year?
Well, if it happens, it happens. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not going to worry about it, okay? I'm not going to get emotional like I did. I felt I was really close this time. And I don't know if that'll ever happen again. And if it does, great. But I'm not going to let that define me moving on.
So he loses 2 sisters to cancer, 1 brother to asthma, 1 brother to a heart attack, and he talked about the other brother who died when Drew was driving a car on LBJ Expressway, and how he couldn't even attend that brother's funeral because he had his own injuries and he was stuck in the hospital. Right. So if he can bounce back from that, he can bounce back from anything.
Well, and you can't even compare all of that loss versus what this is, but this certainly, you know, in a professional light, this is something that is extremely important to him, and we know that, and it's painfully obvious, and the man feels like he should be there, and many agree. And, you know, some may disagree, and that's fine too, but I don't think anybody faults him for sharing the way he feels
And I
about it,
think
even on that day.
His emotions resonate with people, too, because you can all imagine that sense of disappointment that you would have.
But you know what he does say? He wants no one to feel sorry for him because in his life, he's met 3 U.S. presidents. He's been to the White House. He's had all these national and regional and local opportunities. And every day he wakes up, he's blessed to say, I'm a former Dallas Cowboy.
That's a good point of view.
Yeah.
Keith, thanks for taking us inside, and we thank Drew for taking the time to speak to you. That's a big deal. Good for him for coming out.